we're going to start on the floor today. So, like we said last week, this is your kind of non-hippie yoga. So we're going to have a good stretch out. So onto the floor. Start with your feet flat on the floor like that. And then put the soles of your feet together and just let your knees hang wide. Super. So we're just going to settle in here for the moment. So let those knees be really, really heavy, pushing your back down into the floor and place your hands down by your side, palms upwards. And then just relax all the way down into the floor. And we'll just have this nice opening stretch before we start. So has anybody got any injuries or aches and pains or limited movement that we need to know before we go in? So just going to come up to seated position again. Bring those soles of the feet down to the floor. And then we're going to tuck one leg underneath the other. Spin around so you can see. And then foot up over the top of that knee. And then you want to take your opposite arm and we're going to go straight into a nice twist. So you've got your opposite arm over the top of your thigh. Super. A couple of big deep breaths here. And then you want to see if you can lengthen the crown of your head, the top of your head. See if you can reach that all the way up to the ceiling as high as you can. So you're making your back really, really straight. And then just see if you can do a little bit of an extra twist. Move that hand that's behind you just back further, half an inch or so. See if you can have a smaller twist into your back. Good, and then relax back around to the front, swap those legs over. And then opposite arm again, over the tip of your knee and twist around. You will quite often find that you can twist further on one side than the other. Very good. Lengthen up that spine again, crown of your head all the way up to the ceiling. See if you can sit up as straight as you can. And then just move that back hand around a tiny bit more, just increasing that stretch. Super. And then bring those knees back together again into your cross-legged position. And we're going to roll over, palms on your feet, on your hands, and then onto your hands and knees. And we're going to sit here and do a couple of cat-cows. So big rounding up of your shoulders. Push the floor away through the palms of your hands. Nice spread out fingers so you can see the mat in between. And then you're trying to pull your hips in as far as you can in towards your elbows. And tuck your chin in towards your chest. Lovely. And then relax down through the other way. Tailbone up to the ceiling, chin up. Lovely. Nice big arch of your back. And see if you can draw your shoulder blades all the way down towards your hips. Good. And then back the other way, back into your Halloween cat position. Really push the floor away through your shoulders. Draw those hips in towards your elbows. Super. And then back down through the other way. We'll do 2 more of each in your own time. Last cat, and then when you get back into your arch, back through the other way, into your cow position, we're going to draw our shoulder across to our hip. So we're trying to close a gap, twisting shoulder to hip, so you're looking back towards your toes. Nice big side stretch, looking over your shoulder, and then come back to the middle and over to the other side. And we're loosening off the spine here. 1 more on each side. And it should feel like a nice big stretch along the sides of your abdominals on your obliques. And then come back to the middle, push up into downward dog. Just feel a stretch coming through the backs of your legs. And then pedal through your feet really gently to start with, pushing one heel down to the floor and then the other. Still got those nice wide fingers. And you're pushing the floor away still through your shoulders. Very nice. Couple more on each foot. We're going to drop back down to our knees again. Cross over your ankles. Sorry, bring your big toes together. Knees nice and wide. And sit back onto your heels, pushing your hands away. So head down towards the floor and you're trying to push your armpits down towards the mat. So opening up your shoulders. You should feel the stretch on the inside of your legs as well. Super. Just let your shoulders sink down towards the mat. And we're going to push back up onto our hands and knees. Wiggle your knees in a little bit closer if you want to. Hips down towards the floor. And then chin up. Shoulder blades back. And looking up towards the ceiling. So nice big stretch all the way through your abs. Stretching through your back. Good. So just come up as far as you're comfortable. And we're going to press our hands back, big toes together, and sit back onto your heels again. Pressing your upper arms, your armpits down into the mat again. Super. Take one more big deep breath here, and we're going to press back forwards again, hips down to the mat, chin up. Bring those shoulder blades all the way down. Imagine you're trying to put them into your back pocket. We're going to do that one more time. So press back onto your heels, big toes back together again. All the way down to the mat. Super. Okay, and then last time, all the way forwards, hips down to the mat. Good. And then this time we're going to close that gap between our shoulder and our hip again, lifting over our shoulder towards our toes. And then when you're ready, back to the middle, nice and slowly, and over to the other side. Do a couple more on each side if you want to. If you don't like the twist, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to do it. Super. Then press back up onto those hands and knees. Curl your toes under. You might just want to bring your hands a little bit closer to your knees and press up into that downward dog position again. We're going to wiggle through our toes, but this time we're going to add in our hips. So we're twisting our hips side to side, finding those stretches. So as your heel comes off the floor, drop your hip down on that side. Good. We're releasing off the lower back, the calves and the hamstrings here. Super. Couple more on each side. Really have a good wiggle of those hips. And then just lift your chin and a big step forward with your left foot. Your right knee comes down to the floor. And then pop yourself up onto the front leg and lunge forward into the stretch. Good. You should feel a stretch all the way up front of this back foot. Super. So just rest here for a second. Feel that stretch start to ease off. And then if you want to, when you're ready, you can lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Just sink into that stretch a little bit more. You want to stretch further, look up towards your fingertips and bring your arms backwards behind you, adding a little bit of a back stretch as well. Really good. And just rest here for a moment. Super. And when you're ready, bring those hands back down towards the floor. If you've got your left foot forward, lift your left arm up towards the ceiling into a stretch. Good, and you're looking up towards your fingertips. See if you can bring that top shoulder up and behind you a little bit more. Lovely. Bring that hand back down, but this time place it on the inside of your left foot. So you're both of your hands together. And then let your left knee hang wide. So you're opening up your hips. So you're rotating your foot onto the edge of the outside edge of that foot. Super. If you want to feel the stretch a little bit more, you can drop down onto your elbows. You don't have to do this bit though. You can stay up nice and high if you want to.
Get up again.
Yeah, so just stay there just for a second. Breathe into that stretch. And then when you're ready, press back up onto your hands. Bring your knee nice and straight. Move your hands back so they're framing your foot, one hand either side. Super. And we're going to bend back onto our back leg, straightening this front leg as we move our hips behind us. You can either stay here for a hamstring stretch, or you can sit back onto your heel, still stretching our hamstring, bring your toes up towards the ceiling, and then your palms face up on the floor. So you're either nice and high, resting here, or you're sat back onto your ankle, palms facing up. So decide which one feels good for you. It should be a really good stretch all the way up the back of your leg. Just wait for that to start to ease off a little bit. Hamstrings are always really tight first thing in the mornings. And then press back up onto your knees and spin around to the side. And extend this leg again, this time out directly to the side. Super. And then bring our arms up and lean all the way across onto this straight leg. So you should feel the stretch all the way up your side. You might feel the stretch on the inside of this leg as well. Super. And then all the way up over the top and down to the other side, placing this hand down onto the mat. Nice stable super, right then. And big stretch. See if you can reach your fingers a little bit further across to that wall. Love it. And bring this hand down to meet the other one onto the floor. Twist around onto your hands and knees. And press back up into downward dog. And again, we're going to pedal back through one foot and then the other. Good. And then add in those hip wiggles as well. Dropping one hip down and then the other. You should start to feel like you're loosening off a little bit more this time. It should feel a little bit easier. A couple more on each side. And then big step through your hands with your right foot this time. Drop down to your knee. And press back up on that front leg and lunge forwards. Let's just step up into that stretch if you want to push it a little bit further. Bring those arms up to the ceiling. And then a little bit further still. Look at your arms, look at your fingertips and arch back. Just stay there in that stretch. And bring your hands down either side of your foot. If your right foot's in front, lift that right arm up to the ceiling. Nice big twist up, lifting towards your fingertips. And bring that hand back down. This time to the inside of your foot. Let your knee hang nice and wide. And your foot roll onto the outside edge. Super. If you want to, again, you can drop down onto your elbows. Making that hip stretch open a bit further. Lovely. A couple more deep breaths here, just let that stretch sink in. And then press back up onto your hands if you were on your elbows. One hand at either side of your foot, bring your knee back to centre. And then sit back onto the back leg again, leaving the front foot in front and either nice and high here, or you sit back onto your heel, toe up to ceiling, and lean forward, palms facing up. So again, nice big stretch through your hamstrings. Couple of big deep breaths here, let that stretch start to ease off. And then press back up to your kneeling position, and we're sideways this time. Nice straight leg directly out to your side, arms up, and good, nice slow lean over, resting on that leg. If you're not feeling the stretch too much, bring that top shoulder round behind you a little bit more. Good, and back to the middle and down to the other side. Place that hand onto the mat. Push your hips forwards and bring that top shoulder behind you, lifting up towards those fingertips. Really nice. Bring that right hand down to meet your left hand on the floor. Twist around back onto your hands and knees. And into your cat-cows. So pressing back up into your Halloween cat again. Your lower back should feel a lot looser this time. Bringing hips in towards your elbows. Chin to chest. And then relax back through, down the other way. Shoulder blades into your back. Tailbone up to ceiling. Chin up nice and high. Good, and back through the other way. Really press the floor away through your shoulders. And when you go into that cow, see if you can get your collarbones as far apart as they can and pull those shoulders back. Good, last cat. Curl those toes under, press back up into that downward dog again. Really try and get your ribs in towards your thighs. And then a small pedal through your feet again. Super. We're going to take a big step forward with our left foot. We're going to stay high this time. So step through, make sure you're nice and balanced, and then lift up onto the front leg into a low lunge this time. Good. Just let yourself sink down into that stretch so your weight comes forward over this front leg. Good, and then bring those arms up if you're nice and balanced. Hips forwards. Good, and just sink down into that stretch. Lovely. And just swivel around on your back foot, so your back foot's now the same direction as your mat, and bring those arms down to the side. We're just going to lean forward, so imagine you're reaching for something with that front hand, So your body stays nice and tall, but you're reaching forward. You're just opening the stretch back up in this hip again. Lovely. You'll feel it burn a little bit in that front thigh. Good. Then we're going to lean backwards this time. So your back arm comes down towards your thigh. Up over the top. Super. And back towards the middle. And we're going to shuffle around this front foot facing the front. So both feet are together. Sorry, facing the same direction. And squat down, hands on hips. And I'm going to drop one shoulder down towards the opposite knee. And come back up and down towards the other side. So you're trying to lead with your shoulder. Stay in this nice squat position. You're pushing your bum backwards. So hips to the wall behind you. And then really feel the stretch. So one shoulder comes all the way down towards your knee, the other shoulder goes back towards the ceiling, towards the wall behind you. One more on each side. And then just straighten your legs a little bit out of that squat, and we're going to fold forwards, hips towards the ceiling, let your hands come down towards the floor. Super. And then just clasp each elbow, so you're folding your arms, let your chin tuck in, and then just twist side to side, so your legs and your hips are still, and your upper body is twisting. So let your arms and your head be really heavy. Super. Now relax your arms down again. Bring that round side up and clasp them together just above your hips. And then tuck your chin under and let your arms come up over the top into a stretch. Super. Just opening up those shoulders. So when you're ready, bring those arms back down in towards your hips. Let them fall forwards back towards the floor. Good. Now we're going to do a big knee bend and roll our body all the way back up towards the top, back to standing. Super. Then we're going to twist around on both feet into a lunge on the opposite side this time. So you're facing the other wall. Try to balance there, sink forwards into that lunge. Lovely. And if you're steady there and the stretch feels good, arms up nice and high. And you can look up towards your fingertips. Lovely. So just sink forward into that stretch. Good. And swivel that back foot round. So the edge of your foot is level with the back of your mat. Arms come down to the side. We're going to lunge back forwards, reaching out. So nice and tall, shoulders back. Lovely. And then lean backwards. Back arm coming down towards your thighs. Front arm up over the top. And then back forwards again. Big reach. Good. Swivel this front foot around again. So it's facing the side of your mat. Hands on hips. Back into the squat position. And into your shoulder twists. Good. Come back to standing into that squat. And then swivel back on our feet into a low lunge to the first side. Our hands are going to come back down to the floor, frame your foot. And then big step back into downward dog again. Press through the shoulders. So you're trying to get your ribs in towards your hips, towards your knees. Push those tailbones all the way up to the ceiling and pedal back through those feet again. So you should find the backs of your legs and your calves a lot looser this time. A lot less resistance in your stretch. And then lift your chin, drop down onto your knees. Big toes together. Widen those knees if you want to. We're going to sit back into that child's pose. Good. Head down towards the floor. Forearms and shoulders down. Pressing into your mat. Have a big deep breath here. Good. Then when you're ready, slowly move your hands, walking them across all the way to one side. So you're opening up a side stretch again. Reaching over to one side. Once you get as far along as you feel comfortable, just sink down into that stretch, into your mat again. And have a big deep breath here. Good, then hands back in towards the middle and across to the other side. So bring those hands all the way back again. And sink down into the stretch. Last couple of deep breaths here. And when you're ready, lift your chin. Walk those hands slowly up in towards your knees. Good, and we are all finished. I hope you feel nice and stretched.